All right, so in this case, this, what am I doing here? This is designed for a project for my drawings design process class, but basically I'm just gonna teach 2-point perspective quickly in this. But the objective is to be able to draw a utilitarian form, a man-made form that serves a function like this, like an object, a utilitarian object. So in part 2 of this video, I will use 2-point perspective to draw this form, but I'm just gonna keep it here just as a reminder. That's what we're gonna do. I will save this piece of paper for that when it comes to it, which I'll put on the side. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is draw a line right through this. Actually, I'm gonna draw a line right above, so it's somewhat relative to what's happening here. What this line is, it's a horizon line. Are you kidding me with that, huh? Technical error. Hold on. And we'll have this fixed in a second. All right. So this is going to be our horizon line. The horizon line is basically the eye level of the viewer. So if you're standing on a beach and you're looking straight out, and that's also called the horizon line, where the sky meets the water. But imagine that is the same line as your eye level. So if you're looking at this object, because you can see the top plane, your eye level is above it. So your eye level is probably around here somewhere. And if I were to follow these lines from this form, the vanishing points would end up on that horizon line. Again, I'll come back to that later on. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a rectangle similar to what this form lives in here. And then in part 2 of this video, I'll show you how to draw that form. I'm going to draw the form a little bit on the smaller scale. So the first thing you want to do is, I'm lining this ruler up at the bottom so I make my first vertical line. This line here represents the closest line or the corner that is to the viewer. I'm going to keep my vanishing points on the paper. You could put your vanishing points anywhere along the horizon line, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to put them on the paper. Next thing I like to do is I like to just put a little dot here and a dot here just so I know where to begin and end. I put the point of my pencil here, run my ruler to the point, so you can kind of angle it, and then I rotate it right to the point here that I created. I'm going to call this the left vanishing point. I'm going to call this the right vanishing point. So these are vanishing points. The reason why they're called vanishing points is because the line vanishes to the point, and also called orthogonal lines, converging lines. They converge to a point in 2-point perspective. And basically what I'm doing is I'm connecting both of these points to both vanishing points. At this point, it looks like the wings of a bird flying somewhat below eye level. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm trying to make a rectangle that's similar to this guy. So this rectangle here, if I were to build a rectangle around this stapler, this side is shorter than that side. It's clearly shorter. It's much shorter. If I were to measure the width of this, it'd be like 4 or 5 lengths. So I'm just going to eye it. I'm not going to do any other form of measuring. Something along those lines. And I think I'm going to bring it back to about right here. Now, I drew this line in here because that's the next line I draw in. So that represents the end of that cube. I put a mark here, and I should have put that line in first. And what I'm doing is putting the end of this cube. Granted, this looks like it might be a little longer than what we see here, but I'm just generalizing at the moment. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this far corner, connect it to the right vanishing point. I'm going to take this far right corner, connect it to the left vanishing point. Now you can see this cube in space. Does it look like this? No, I'd say this one's probably a little wider, and maybe this is a little shorter, or this is shorter and this is wider and not as tall. So I can make my adjustments. But for now, I just want to describe 2-point perspective. Now, this cube can be on the horizon line, it can be above the horizon line. If I hold a rectangle in front of you, below your eye level, on your eye level, or above your eye level, that means it will be, this is below, this is on, this is above. I don't have any paper to draw it above, but you can kind of get the idea. And you can make multiple different shapes and sizes of rectangles, as long as they're in between these two vanishing points. So I'm just going to do another one just to kind of repeat what I've said. So right now I'm just establishing a line that's closest to me. I put 2 points. I'm going to use the same vanishing points. I could create 2 more vanishing points, but I'm just going to use the same vanishing points just to be make it an easy video. And then I go to this side. In this case, I want to make a different looking rectangle. So I'm drew a line straight down here. It's not that straight. I think I'm going to draw a line straight here. What I didn't do was I didn't connect this guy over, which doesn't matter. You don't have to do it in that perfect approach or system, recipe. Get this corner, bring it over to the other side. Take this corner here, bring it over to here. And I have another rectangle. And it actually looks like it runs right into that one. And if you want to clean things up, because these lines don't have to go all the way to the vanishing point, they can end right where the object ends, etc. So you can kind of see, and I'm going to erase the other part of this so it looks like it's in front of it. So I just made 2 rectangles in space going to 2 vanishing points, also known as 2-point perspective. So in my second video, I'm going to show you how to draw an object much like this using 2-point perspective. It will be a little distorted because if I drew this all the way out here, the vanishing point is going to be way out here, and this vanishing point is going to be way out here. And I'm going to try to get as close as I possibly can to this.